Next topic we're looking at will be farm records and traceability. Farm records are a very important component of any crop production operation. And it allows you to track all production activities. Why is it important to have a record system? It allows you to document all farm activities, whatever you do on the farm, from land prep right down to harvesting. Farm records helps you to track those activities. You might be in the field and something might occur, such as like you have an incident where you have animals run through the field. Again, you document all those activities, anything that's going on the farm, anyone's doing anything, you document all that. It's very important to document all activities. It helps you to identify areas in the farm operation that might need adjustment. Based on your records, based on the information you gathered, you can assess and evaluate, and you might realize you might need to change some particular practice on the field, in the farm, to improve that productivity. It allows you to trace back any problems from the field to the supply chain. You might have a problem where occur on the farm. You'll be able to trace that problem. Say we have a contamination risk occurring in field 3. Because we have that documentation and we're keeping those records, we can actually trace that. So once we could trace that problem, then we could go from production right up the supply chain. Very important in documenting these things. Now, next I will give you an example of what farm records could entail, or some of the things that you need to know. Field location or field name. You should be able to identify your particular fields. Whether it's field 1, whether it's location B, you should be able to have a specific identity code or name for that particular field. Know what type of crop is being grown in that field. When that crop was planted, the source of your planting material, the acreage planted, the activities undertaken in producing that crop, pest and disease problems, anything that crops up during that crop production, harvest date, yield data. Now there can be more information can be added because every farm operation, there's something different varies, but the key thing is you need to have information. You need to document key things. So when you come back, you can assess and evaluate your production system. If you need to change it, probably you can look at this particular crop not doing well. We need to find a different variety. So all that information helps you to manage your farm operation. What I've done here is actually a sample of a record. Now you can actually keep the records in a nice little book, Ray Collins runner, or you can do it on a table, Word document, Excel spreadsheet. But the actually thing is you keeping your records, because if you have to come, you can go back and assess those records. If you have to do audits, you can produce those records for auditing. Key thing is you have your production records, you have all your columns, the field ID, crop type, planting date, that kind of thing. And then also too, you could have a section where you have little notes where you can actually drop down anything that's significant that happened during that time or within that time. Always keeping track of everything. But at the end of the day, you can actually produce that. Fertilization records, very critical to any crop production system from an agronomic, economic, and environmental perspective. You look at the field name, application rate, application date, crop, method application fertilizer, name of applicator, who's doing the application, who applied the fertilizer, where they apply the fertilizer, how much they apply, what type of fertilizer. All these things are key, important things you need to keep in mind, keep to record, helps you to manage and adjust your fertility program. And again, if you have to be audited, you can actually produce that. From the environmental part of it, if you apply too much fertilizer, you have to be concerned of leaching. Depending on how you apply the fertilizer, it might be something will run off. Or it might be, if it's on the surface, in terms of urea, you have to worry about volatilization, loss to the atmosphere. So it's very, from economic, fertilizer is expensive, it's money. So you want to ensure that when you spend your dollars, you're getting your results you needed from that money you spend. Agronomic is very important for the crop. You want to ensure the crops are actually getting the nutrients and taking it up. Because once the crops are taking up the nutrients, they're getting that. That means productivity is good. That means at the end of the day, yield will be high. So you want to ensure that. So fertilizing records is very important. Monitor your fertilizer program. Evaluate that program. You see if you need to make adjustments. Because you could be applying, again, for example, you could be applying fertilizer to the soil. You have a case that you apply all the nutrients, but yet still you find, I'm still having these problems with micronutrients deficiency. Why is that? It could be a case why. It could be a case of soil pH affecting the take of that particular, the availability of that particular micronutrient. So instead of applying it to the soil, I will apply the normal macronutrients, but that particular micronutrient I will apply as a foliar application to correct that deficiency problem. So the plant still gets the required nutrients, you know. Just I apply it poorly for that particular nutrient instead of applying it to the soil because it becomes unavailable due to the pH condition in the soil. So, like I said, your fertilizer record is very important. Again, sample design of a fertilizer record. You could design your own records according to you. So I have a book, draw everything. You could use an Excel spreadsheet. There might be some crop database programs where you actually could keep that information in a database. Pesticide records, very important also too. As I mentioned before in the presentation, we need to know the field location where we apply this pesticides, to what crop we apply that to, what is the disease or pest we're targeting for that particular application. We want to know the chemical name, what is the active ingredient of that chemical, right? Because sometimes we have chemicals that on the market you're buying might be the same thing, different name, but the active ingredient is very key. So when you realize you might have chemical A and chemical B, different names, but when you watch active ingredient, you realize well, it's the same thing. So you might be end up buying chemicals twice you don't need to buy. So you need to keep track of those things like that. Quantity applied, how much chemical you apply to that crop. The application rate, method of application, how you apply that, what equipment you use. Key component, re-entry time and pre-harvest interval. We need to document those things for chemicals. We need to respect that. Re-entry time, what is the time allowed before we can actually go back in the field to perform any operations? Pre-harvest interval, when we need to observe that before we actually harvest the crop. So these things you need to record on the chemical aid. Again, name applicant, who applied the chemical. You will be able to say, listen, worker A applied chemical to field C. But yet still you find out, like, I having a problem here, something wrong. So if you don't have the name of the person who applied the chemical, you'll be trying to figure out who actually applied, if it was spread or not. So you could go back to that person, listen, something happened in the field because you might get work. No, I didn't do nothing. So you'll be able to track who applied the chemical and how they applied, because if you have a problem in the field, then you could talk to that person, listen, I have a problem in this field, let me go run through it and see how you went about doing these things, so you will see if there's any mistakes or something he got missed out while looking at mixing chemical and applying that chemical. So it's good to keep track to keep know who does what on the field. Again, another sample record, easy to design. Traceability, very important in any crop production operation. You want to be able to trace and track the movement of produce from the farm to the supplier, and from the supplier back to the farm. Two components, tracing, backtracking of products from the supply chain to the farm, and tracking, monitoring the movement of that product as it goes through the different stages of development, growth, yield, right out to the consumer. Hence the reason why you see farm records at the center. Very important to all these things. You need to keep your farm records. It allows for traceability, allows for accountability, allows you to make assessment and evaluations of your programs, what you're doing, what you need to change, what you need to adjust. Look at your inputs. Probably you could be saying, again, you could be using fertilizers, chemicals that you could probably cut off from that list because that is additional cost. So you don't need to use all those things. So records help you to evaluate what you're doing and manage your operation in an efficient way.